What if just one weapon could collapse entire front lines overnight? Imagine a single technological leap, so sudden and so precise, that even the best prepared army is left scrambling for answers. This is exactly what has just played out on the Ukrainian front. In recent days, Russia has unleashed its new high-precision weapon, codenamed Grom. The impact? Strikingly swift and decisive. Ukrainian forces near Pokrovsk and Sumy are in full retreat, their positions thrown into chaos as supply lines and reserves are wiped out before they even reach the battle. Military analysts, hardened by years of brutal conflict, have been left stunned not only by the speed, but also by the scale of the disruption. Fronts that looked stable just hours ago are now unraveling, their hard-fought gains erased in a single night. Miss these developments, and you risk misunderstanding what truly shapes this war. It is not just numbers on a map or headlines about counterattacks. It is how a sudden shift in technology can upend months of planning, morale, and command, turning local success into strategic disaster. But what exactly is Grom? Why has it changed the calculus of this war almost instantly? And can anyone adapt before the next shock hits? To really grasp the scale of this upheaval, we need to break down what Grom is, how it works, and why its deployment has left Ukrainian commanders facing an impossible strategic dilemma. This is not just another missile. It's a force multiplier. Meet Grom. On paper, it might look like a new weapon system, just another headline. But in reality, Grom is a high-precision, long-range strike platform, engineered specifically to destroy not only enemy units, but the infrastructure that keeps entire armies moving. Its very first launches sent shockwaves through Ukrainian defenses. Ammunition depots, logistics hubs, and crucial transport routes were wiped off the map, leaving columns stranded and units suddenly isolated near Pokrovsk and Sumy. Why is this so significant? In modern warfare, logistics is not just support, it is the bloodstream of an army. Without reliable supply lines, attacks collapse into confusion, and even the strongest defenses become pointless. Within hours, Ukrainian soldiers who believed their positions were secure found their supply lifeline cut. Panic swept through frontline units. The front that looked stable yesterday now risks encirclement and collapse today. If we ignore logistics and morale, we miss the real story. Armies rarely fall because every soldier is defeated. They crumble when fuel, ammunition, and hope run dry. The true battle is won or lost before most troops ever fire a shot. With these realities in mind, it's clear, the emergence of Grom changes the rules. Ukrainian command is forced to choose between equally devastating options, each one carrying grave risks to their troops, cities, and the entire defensive line. Now let's dive into exactly how these precision strikes are boxing Ukrainian commanders into desperate decisions on the battlefield. Every option now looks like a trap. So which one do you choose? Pokrovsk has become the eye of the storm. As Ukrainian reserves and equipment concentrate here, Russian forces are relentlessly striking the rail lines, the very arteries that keep this front alive. When these critical railway hubs are lost, the ability to reinforce or even retreat fades away, leaving Ukrainian units more isolated with every passing day. One by one, these logistical lifelines are being cut. With each shattered rail junction, the urgency builds and the choices narrow. No matter the decision, hold the line, attempt a counterattack, or pull back, the situation grows more perilous, echoing the classic chess dilemma of zugzwang, where every move only makes things worse. The Dobropilsky salient, once seen as a potential springboard for Ukrainian advances, is now bleeding resources desperately needed elsewhere. With forces pinned here, Pokrovsk's defense weakens, and the cost of holding this patch of ground rises by the hour. Yet, political leaders in Kiev insist on holding every position, regardless of the mounting risk, while military commanders see the necessity, perhaps even the inevitability, of withdrawal to save what remains of their fighting strength. This deadlock is not just a question of territory. Leadership errors at this juncture could trigger the collapse of entire fronts, risking not only key cities, but the lives of thousands and the very balance of power in the region. Each hesitation, Each forced gamble is amplified by the arrival of the high-precision weapon Grom, delivering blows that disrupt logistics, paralyze morale, and sow panic across command structures. The cascading dilemmas are multiplying, and the psychological shockwaves radiate far beyond the battlefield. As the effect of Grom grows, the crisis in Ukrainian command deepens, not only on the map, but in the minds of those making life-and-death decisions. But what happens when these psychological and strategic shocks ripple through the entire chain of command, fracturing coordination and trust? Let's examine how Grom is reshaping not just tactics, but the very fabric of Ukraine's military response. What if panic spreads faster than reinforcements? With every new strike by the Grom missile, it becomes clear that the damage is not just physical. The real impact is psychological. These weapons do more than destroy supply depots and convoys. They inject an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty throughout the Ukrainian ranks. Suddenly, reports emerge of unexpected retreats near Pokrovsk and Sumy. Communication lines collapse, and units lose grip on key sectors as confusion takes hold. Some positions are abandoned without a fight, simply because troops fear being the next target. Every attempt to shift reserves or reinforce weak spots is met with immediate interception. Columns are struck on the move, and any hope of relief fades rapidly. This constant threat erodes trust and discipline, feeding a cycle where morale crumbles and coordination breaks down. The cost of hesitation grows by the day. Each pause gives Grom more time to press its advantage, limiting what Ukrainian command can do to recover. Options shrink. A delay of even a few hours can mean the difference between holding ground and losing it forever. Pokrovsk and Sumy stand as gateways. If either falls, it opens a direct route for Russian forces toward the industrial heart of Donbass, cities that are crucial not just for military strategy, but for the future political map of the region. These are not just lines on a map. They are the last buffer before a much wider collapse. The risk is now existential. If Ukrainian command hesitates or miscalculates, the consequences extend beyond losing territory. The entire operational structure in the east could unravel, making recovery nearly impossible. Given how quickly these effects compound, the central question becomes unavoidable. Is there a way to break this downward spiral, or does every decision from here only tighten the noose? As the crisis deepens, what options remain for Ukrainian leadership? And could any move truly change the course, or are they now trapped by events already in motion? History rewards those who adapt. Are today's leaders listening? The events around Pokrovsk and Sumy are a harsh lesson. In modern war, logistics, precision, and morale count as much as raw numbers or firepower. The Russian deployment of the Grom missile did not just target equipment. It broke the flow of supplies, shattered confidence, and exposed rigid decision-making at the highest levels. Every delay, every moment of indecision, now multiplies losses. In an era of high-precision strikes, even a single hour lost in response can erase weeks of hard-won gains. Ukrainian commanders, caught between political pressures and military realities, find themselves trapped in a cycle where each choice worsens the situation on the ground. This is not just about territory. It is a demonstration that the side best able to align strategy with technology gains a massive advantage. The destruction of transport arteries, railways, bridges, key supply routes shows that flexible defense and rapid adaptation are vital. When those are missing, even the bravest frontline efforts can be instantly undermined by the next precision strike. Political imperatives, like holding every position at any cost, often run counter to what the battlefield demands. When leaders ignore the changing character of war, they risk costly errors. The Ukrainian command is now paying the price in both lost ground and falling morale, as even attempted counterattacks are snuffed out by technology they failed to anticipate. These lessons are not confined to Eastern Europe. For military thinkers and policymakers everywhere, the message is clear. Future conflicts will not be decided by numbers alone, but by the ability to adapt, to secure logistics, and to keep morale intact under pressure. Clinging to outdated frameworks or ignoring technological shifts is a recipe for failure. So, to truly understand how the next chapter will unfold, we must watch not just for troop movements or headline victories, but for signs of adaptation, new command decisions, and how each side responds to the relentless pressure of technological change. As the front lines shift and both sides scramble to adapt, the real story will be told by how quickly they learn and whether they can restore stability before the next surprise hits. The rules just changed. Are you ready for the next phase? In the wake of the Grom's deployment, the Ukrainian command faces a reality where old playbooks no longer apply. What once counted as a stable front can be erased overnight, and every attempt to reinforce or maneuver is now haunted by the threat of sudden, precise strikes. This is not just a matter of battlefield losses. It is a cascading crisis where logistics break down, morale cracks, and political pressure grows heavier as options disappear. Ukrainian forces find themselves in a classic dilemma. Every defensive move weakens another position, and every delay deepens the trap. If these strategic shifts are ignored, leaders risk being blindsided by outcomes that no longer follow the patterns of past campaigns. Hours of effort, months of planning, and even reputations can be swept away in moments. The traditional equations of control and response are being rewritten by technological advances and relentless operational pressure. For everyone watching, this turning point is more than tactical. It reveals how quickly the entire conflict can be reshaped and how the stability of the region now depends on decisions made under intense uncertainty. The only way to avoid being caught off guard is to understand these dynamics, question every assumption, and prepare for further disruptions that may arrive without warning.